The purpose of this video is to provide background information prior to an online public information meeting, which is scheduled to be held on October 13th, 2021 from 7 to 9 p.m. The topics to be discussed at the public information meeting include the Faulder zone review and 2 rezoning applications within the Faulder community. Faulder is a community within Electoral Area F, located approximately 10 kilometers west of downtown Summerland. Much of this area was subdivided between the 1970s and 1990s and is characterized by rural residential development. The Faulder community relies on 2 water sources, a bedrock aquifer and the overlying Meadow Valley aquifer. The Faulder water system has a history of water scarcity and shortage issues, most recently seen in 2008 following drought conditions. In 1990, the Faulder Community Water System Service Area Bylaw was adopted, establishing the current boundaries of the Faulder Community Water System Service Area. In 1993, the existing Faulder well was developed along with its associated infrastructure. The well draws water from the Meadow Valley aquifer and currently serves approximately 215 residents and 80 parcels. Significant funding has been allocated to the Faulder water system and its upgrades. In 2009, funding was announced for a new well. In 2013, an option study was conducted by Boulder Associates to assess the viability of different options for water supply. In 2015, a new deeper well was drilled 309 feet below the drilling pad surface, and at that time, a new uranium treatment system was also installed and a backup well established. The Electoral Area F Official Community Plan, or OCP, bylaw was reviewed between 2016 and 2018 and captured the concerns held by the regional board regarding water scarcity and quality issues within the Faulder community in its statements and policies. In particular, the OCP background statements note that the water supply and quality issues constrain growth in the Faulder and Meadow Valley communities, and that the Faulder water system is currently at capacity. Under the OCP, the regional board also discourages subdivision of properties in the Faulder area in order to maintain the rural character of the area. Since 2014, the regional district has received a number of rezoning proposals to facilitate subdivision of properties within the Meadow Valley aquifer, including the proposals shown on this slide. Similarly, since 2020, the regional district has received a number of development proposals involving the properties within or immediately adjacent to the Faulder Community Water Service Area, including the proposals shown in this slide. As part of the Faulder zone review, it's being proposed that stronger OCP policy statements be introduced in order to clarify that the regional district does not support further subdivision within the Faulder Community Water System Service Area or the expansion of the Faulder Community Water System Service Area, and to discourage the rezoning of parcels within the Meadow Valley aquifer for the purpose of facilitating subdivision. The project also proposed the addition of a map within the OCP bylaw to indicate the general location of the Meadow Valley aquifer, as shown on this slide in blue. It is also being proposed that a new zone, the Faulder Small Holding Zone, or SH7 zone, be introduced to all properties within the Faulder Water System Service Area in order to restrict further subdivision, density, and water-intensive uses. More specifically, the proposed SH7 zone would limit density to 1 principal residence, remove secondary suites, accessory dwellings, and agriculture as permitted uses, and set a 5-hectare minimum parcel size for subdivision. Currently, there are about 15 parcels within the Faulder Water System Service Area that are larger than 2 hectares in size. The current Small Holdings 3 zoning that applies to these properties allows the subdivision into 1-hectare parcels. The October 13th public information meeting will also include 2 rezoning applications for the properties located at 8475 and 8151 Princeton-Summerland Road. The first application to be discussed relates to the property at 8475 Princeton-Summerland Road, which is located 1.5 kilometers south of the Faulder Water System Service Area. The application proposes to amend the current zoning of the property from small holdings 2 to small holdings 3 in order to facilitate subdivision to create 2 additional lots. This application has previously been the subject of a public information meeting on March 18, 2021. The application was considered by the Advisory Planning Commission on March 22, 2021, which recommended to the Regional District Board that the application be approved. On April 1, 2021, the zoning amendment bylaw was read a first and second time and was directed to a public hearing, which was scheduled for May 6, 2021. Prior to the public hearing, 4 representations from local residents were received, which included concerns about water resource availability in the area. At its subsequent meeting on that same day, the board resolved to defer the third reading of the zoning amendment bylaw and directed that a second public information meeting and public hearing be scheduled. The applicants have submitted a proposed subdivision plan as part of the rezoning application. The proposed subdivision would result in 3 lots, one of 1.06 hectares, one of 1.03 hectares, and one of 1.07 hectares. The second application to be discussed at the upcoming public information meeting relates to a property located at 8151 Princeton-Summerland Road, which is located within the Faulder Community Water Service Area. The application proposed to amend the zoning of the property from small holdings 2 to small holdings 3 in order to facilitate subdivision to create 1 additional lot. The applicants have submitted a proposed subdivision plan as part of the rezoning application. The proposed subdivision would result in 2 lots, one of approximately 1 hectare and one of approximately 2.3 hectares. Both applications propose rezoning from small holdings 2 to small holdings 3, which would reduce the types of uses permitted on the property and also decrease the minimum parcel size to 1 hectare. Now, with respect to the Faulder zone review, following the public information meeting on October 13, 2021, RDOS staff will review any feedback received from the public and applicable agencies. Following this review, the proposed amendment bylaws will be considered by the Area F Advisory Planning Commission. At a future date to be determined, the proposed amendment bylaws would then be reviewed by the RDOS board at first reading. Further steps would then be determined by the RDOS board at first reading. However, if the board gives first and second reading to the bylaw, a public hearing would be held prior to the third reading of the bylaw in order to provide an opportunity for the public to present any comments to the board. The 2 rezoning applications to be discussed at the public information meeting are at different stages in the rezoning application process. For the property at 8475 Princeton-Summerland Road, RDOS staff will review any feedback received from the public and applicable agencies following the public information meeting. A public hearing would then be held at a future date to be determined by Electoral Area F Director Gettins. Following the public hearing, the proposed amendment bylaw would then be considered by the RDOS board at third reading at a future date to be determined. Now, for the property at 8151 Princeton-Summerland Road, RDOS staff will review any feedback received from the public and applicable agencies following the public information meeting. The proposed amendment bylaw would then be considered by the Electoral Area F Advisory Planning Commission prior to consideration of the amendment bylaw by the RDOS board at first reading at a future date to be determined. If you would like to see the status updates for the Faulder zone review, please visit www.rdos.bc.ca. Hover your mouse over the Property and Development tab and click Planning, Zoning, and Subdivision. Scroll down the web page and click Current Applications and Decisions. On the left-hand side of the web page, click Strategic Projects and then select the Faulder Zoning Review. If you would like to see status updates for the rezoning applications to be discussed in this meeting, please visit www.rdos.bc.ca and again, hover your mouse over the Property and Development tab, click Planning, Zoning, and Subdivision, then scroll down the web page and click Current Applications and Decisions. Click the Electoral Area F button and then click the link for the applicable project number under Current Rezoning Proposals. As previously mentioned, the public information meeting will take place on October 13th, 2021 at 7 to 9 p.m. online. You may participate in the public information meeting by computer or phone. For detailed instructions on how to participate, please visit the application webpage using the previous instructions for status updates. On this page, information relating to the public information meeting can be found under Public Consultation. Click the link for WebEx instructions on how to use the WebEx application. You can also review the notice of the public information meeting by clicking the Notice of Meeting link. If you'd like to submit written feedback, please click the feedback form link, print out the form, fill out the blank sections, and send it to the RDOS office at 101 Martin Street, Penticton, BC, or send a scanned copy to planning@rdos.bc.ca.